Jurgens?
It's just from I guess a little bit more specific, what was that little pressure doing to you guys on the offensive line today? Because clearly they got through and did some damage.
Yeah, I think they did a good job of scheming up to bring six, and it's just one of those situations where, when they do that, everyone has to be perfect. And, offensive line's a unique position in the fact that there's five of us, and if one person doesn't do their job, pass protection, including the running back too, if one of us six doesn't do our job, then it's on all of us. And, when one person doesn't do their job, it's a different person on six different plays, then, you're 0 for 6 as a group. And I think, obviously we haven't watched it yet, but I think we're going to look back and say there were 5 guys doing their job here and one guy didn't. So.
I mean, I know you, as a team, you guys had ultimate respect for Louisville as a program and as a team, but surely this outcome was vastly different than what you expected. Just what went wrong, just in general? What do you attribute? What happened?
It's the same thing. It's like it's one of those things you won't know till you watch it, but especially in our system and just offensive football in general, I think it takes 11 guys, and I think we're gonna look back on this tape, and there's gonna be a handful of plays where we look back and say there's one guy not doing their job, and that's just the way football is. It takes all 11, and there's one guy not doing their job. You're gonna get exposed for it.
It's the key to kind of, I guess, turning the page. I know there's a 24-hour rule. Is it easier or harder to do a 24-hour rule on a result like this?
It's a good question. I think that has to do with the identity of the team. We've been here before. Coach Clausen says it all the time. Every win counts as one win, and fortunately, every loss counts as one loss. Depends on the kind of person you are. I don't know if this one stung more, but Clemson stung more. But obviously, 2 very different outcomes, 2 very different performances. And I think we'll just going to learn more about our team, how to respond to it.
In addition to what you just shared, can you think of any other takeaways that you think are going to help as you prepare for this coming Saturday?
Yeah, it's just like any week. I mean, you got to move on. It's football. We got to go down the road to a really good NC State team, play in a really tough environment, and you got to, hurl out of this year's mindset, and you have to go in tomorrow with a growth mindset and not be defensive and embrace coaching and learn from it, and then Sunday around 9 o'clock, not think about it again, and just take those coaching points and move on and be the best team we can be next week.
We'll turn it over to Zoom here for one question.
Hey, Michael, you keep saying that you expect to look at the tape and see a bunch of guys doing their job and one guy not doing his. Are you referring to yourself?
No, I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm phrasing it well. It's like a lot of times when you look back at a game like this, it's a different guy every play. That's the unique. I think it was Russ Graham who said, offensive line is so unique. You got 5 guys working together, and say you have 50 plays in a game and a half or whatever, and every guy does their job on 45 of those plays, and every guy's going to grade out at 90% and look really good on paper. But then when you look back on it, if those 25 errors were all in different plays, then the group only did its job half the time, and I think we're going to look back on it. It's going to be like one of those situations.
Got time for
that makes sense. Thank you.
Got time for one last question.
Michael, was it their speed, and once they got to you guys, they had a bunch of turnovers, but did their speed on the defensive front give you all some problems, obviously?
It's one of those things you really don't know until you watch it. Something gets a problem, really.